Here we go. I got it correct this time. Last time I was all screwed up. From the last live that we did, the camera's configurations were off, and this was the first time that I'm plugging in for another live. So I thought I was set up how I usually am, and my phone is ringing. Doris, please text me. Yeah. So I figured that everything was set up as I normally have it set up. So when I did plug in, the autofocus was on, and I couldn't get it off until I went to the camera and fixed it. So if you tuned in just a few minutes ago and saw me having technical difficulties, it's the reality of going live. It seems like I haven't gotten that down right yet. I think I need to have like one permanent live setup and then one setup just for like my typical recordings. And maybe if they could be the same sort of setup, that might work well, but still trying to figure that out with space. But thank you again for joining me here at ENTP Life. If you're not already a subscriber to this channel and don't know what we stand for here on this channel, really my objective is to show people how I've gone about building my own financial independence through investing in real estate and my healthcare businesses. I ultimately try to teach you what I know so you could go out there and build your own companies and figure out your own financial situation so you could go ahead and live out your own dreams. So in my life, what I'm looking to do is have 12 international properties. I have way more than 12 properties as it stands, but I want to have 12 properties in 12 different cities so that I could really live anywhere in the world, 1 month at a time, rotate through the world, experience different cultures at like their peak season. For example, I'm going to be going to Brazil for Carnival and to film another episode like we did on the Medellin episode. And with that, I plan on being there for Carnival, right? Which is probably one of the best times of the year to be in Brazil, to enjoy the country, enjoy the people, etc. So I would like to kind of have that ability in 12 different countries. So I could go there during the peak of their year, rock out, have fun, and then move on to the next city. It's going to be difficult. If my family was to travel with me, it's probably not going to be realistic. So at some point in my latter years, I'll be able to kind of rotate endlessly and not really care about, what's going on with school and that sort of thing. That's just to let you know who I am, what I'm about, and why I have this channel. Just this past Sunday, our video was covering stocks for Christmas, as opposed to your typical gifts. I have no idea who's calling me from this place. Hold on 1 second. This is a Turo rental. Hello. Hi, how are you? Yes. Okay. The keys are in the vehicle in the mid console. Okay. No. Yeah, just pick up. Okay. That's it. Just message me when you're there, and take the photos as needed. Okay. Yeah, you like take photos of the vehicle. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, man. Yeah, sorry about that, man. This is by far the worst live that I'm doing. Fumbling around, getting phone calls. Turo. I have such a story for you guys, but that's going to come out as a full video. I will never do Turo again. This has been a horrible year with Turo. This is my last Turo rental, and after that, I am done. But I'm going to do a full video on that. I can't stand the car rental side of things. I'll never do it again. I tried to experiment with different kind of investment strategies or business ideas just to see if there's potential for scale there and something that I could kind of turn into another stream of income. I tried Turo, and as you can see, I'm not pleased with that. But as I was saying, this past Sunday's video, we were talking about stocks for Christmas as opposed to getting your typical gift. I'm kind of a Grinch when it comes to Christmas. I'm not really that big into religion, so it doesn't have like the religious excitement for me. And I don't know. I just I don't understand how I should get wound up one part of the year to go shopping and to start buying gifts for people. I feel like the people I care about, I give them plenty throughout the year that I don't need to a holiday to kind of focus me in on that. But that's just me. So it's just something that I've never really enjoyed. And I see people going crazy every Christmas, overspending, running themselves into debt, all in the name of the Christmas spirit. And I'm not sure if they really care that much about the holiday or it's because they're expected to. So what I decided to do was put out a video promoting giving a gift that is more than just something that will end up in a landfill, right? The majority of the things that we buy, whether it's electronic products, clothing, games, they have their life, and their life is usually short. And I think it's more valuable to give a really good memory or to give something of actual value to somebody as a gift. So I started to think of how could I frame that into a story? How can I frame it into a video? And that's where the idea for Stocks for Christmas came from. Of course, a few years back, Kanye West did like a gift to Kim Kardashian of a bunch of stocks, maybe to encourage her to invest or again as an alternative. But it is a brilliant idea, a good way of getting your children, maybe your spouse and people close to you interested in investing. If you were to just gift them a stock rather than a piece of trash, they may be inclined to start paying attention to the stock market, paying attention to other investment vehicles. Now, I gave 3 stock picks, and that wasn't because I necessarily felt that those 3 particular stocks were the stocks that you must own. But I gave 3 relatable companies for most Americans that were at reasonable price points so that if you were going to just go out on a whim and gift a stock, you would be able to give something that your friend or family member would be able to easily recognize and be interested in, right? Apple was the first one that I recommended. Apple's a huge tech and consumer product company. I feel like rather than buying somebody an Apple Watch, you might as well buy them a share of Apple. I've seen Apple rally, over the years, rally and split, rally and split. And if you had made those investments just for one Apple share, even 10 years ago, I believe it would be worth probably 10 times more now, right? Not because Apple stock price is higher than it was 10 years ago. It's because its stock price was higher 10 years ago, had multiple splits to allow that single share to duplicate and then rally again. So imagine what sort of financial gain would have been in order for the person that you gifted one share of Apple. The other choice was JP Morgan Chase. Again, when I started trading right in the financial crisis, JP Morgan Chase was trading, relatively low to what it is trading at now. And that company, they ended up getting, a lot of bailout money for taking on Washington Mutual Bank. But JP Morgan Chase Bank as a company has been well managed by Jamie Dimon. They've usually been risk adverse and really didn't take much of a hit during that crisis compared to other companies that went under. And I've liked them as a bank for a while now, just not necessarily as a consumer retail bank, but as one of the banks that I look to when I'm trying to get a read on how well the banking industry is doing, right? JP Morgan Chase is one of the leaders in the banking space. And then the third pick was Coca-Cola. As Warren Buffett says, it's one of those companies that, billions of people are accustomed to drinking their primary product, which is Coca-Cola. The brand is strong, but they own so much in the beverage industry, in the beverage space. They have almost worldwide, I'm pretty sure it is worldwide market penetration. I don't know where They may not have Coca-Cola products. Maybe North Korea. I'm not sure. If anybody knows if they sell Coca-Cola in North Korea, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure that Coke brand is worldwide and not really going anywhere anytime soon. Stable company, well-run company, going to be consistent as the sky is blue. We'll know Coca-Cola should be here at least for the rest of my lifetime. That's the way I see it. I don't see them going under. And then, of course, Coca-Cola's stock price as of today, let me just look this up, isn't that high. Coke stock price is about Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is currently trading at $58 a share. While the market was just in like this mini correction mode, it only pulled down to $52 a share, and it's trading in that range for the past it's like 7 months or so, between $52 and $60, you could say. So it's not an expensive stock, pretty stable, gives out a 42-cent dividend as it stands per distribution, which is kind of low when you think about, over the course of the year, it's about a 5% dividend. However, if Coca-Cola were trading at $30 a share or even $20 a share, and you were getting the same $2 per year dividend, you'd actually be netting 10% a year on Coca-Cola and then benefiting from the stock price increase. Now, I had a gentleman who reached out to me the other day citing that Coca-Cola, or not citing Coca-Cola, but stating that the companies that I listed, Apple, JPM, and Coca-Cola, he wouldn't recommend those because of inflated PE ratios, and he would say right now he's more interested in investing in commodities. Now, I do not disagree with him. I actually do agree with him. I invited him to come on the channel to share his point of view and explain it, because he seems that he's from the investing world, and I thought it would be a great conversation to have so that he could give you an alternative in how he approaches the market. You don't have to necessarily choose one particular lane to invest, right? You can invest in commodities, you can invest in the general market, you can invest disproportionately into tech, into commodities, into real estate. You can invest in any sector that you really want to. With the exception, I don't really think investing in cash or Bitcoin or coin alternatives is really a good investment. I don't really think investing in gold is a good investment either. I just don't think, I don't understand how somebody invests in money, right? Money is a completely made up thing. So it doesn't have it has value in how we operate in today's world, but it doesn't have value intrinsically in itself, right? The paper that it's printed on is worth almost nothing. Gold has some commercial applications, so it has some value there, but you can't eat gold. You could, decorate things with gold, I guess, but it doesn't have any real value. And the cryptos and the coins, I'm adamantly against them. You could trade them, you could make money trading them, but as a investment, it doesn't seem logical to, if you're looking at a safe haven currency, and you're looking to move from one failing currency to the next, and that one seems to be more stable. It's not. It can fluctuate, quite a bit in a day. I can see why people will move from one currency type to another to protect against inflation, to protect against political change or economic change in their home currency. Totally understand that, right? Whatever the safe haven currency is going to be. But I don't see crypto as that just yet. And I don't see why the price of one coin should infinitely increase. It kind of kind of like an anti-money principle. I don't know, but I could be totally wrong when it comes to crypto. I own zero crypto. I've never traded it. I don't participate in any of the frenzy there. I think, you know, if I had participated years ago when people told me, you know, I should buy into Bitcoin, um, I would have long sold out of it because, you know, being up 100, 200, 300% in anything to me is the time to sell. Like instant, there's nothing to think about. I'd sell just because it's a huge return on any asset class. To sit around and make, you know, thousands of percentage points on an investment and just sitting through the whole thing is not something I could ever do. Not in, especially in a short period of time. With an asset that I don't believe in, I would have been out of that thing a long time ago. So when I speak about investing in stocks for Christmas or something else as an alternative to just a consumer product, it's really to speak to the idea that if you're going to do anything with your money, you better be doing things that are going to help you make more of it, right? And not gimmicky things, not things like I said, like crypto or these forex bots that are going around promising incredible results. But if you're going to actually park your money into an asset class, you should park it into something that is stable, predictable, and has the potential to hold its value or appreciate at some sort of sensible rate. Okay, the stock market over the past 2 years has gone absolutely nuts, mainly because of a huge infusion of cash, printing of money, low interest rates. It just makes sense to have your money in the markets. But I think that bubble is about to go. The guest that I was going to have on was going to come on and explain what he sees as a correlation between commodity markets and stock market bubbles, right? And I thought it was really interesting because another thing that I've said to people is that if I had to choose between buying crypto, leaving my money in cash, and buying animal proteins, I'm absolutely going to pick animal proteins, right? If I had to choose, like, what are my favorite investments, it's going to be things related to human needs, right? Where I'm concentrated is healthcare and real estate. Outside of that, I would certainly invest in energy. I would certainly invest in food commodities, and I would certainly invest in like water or any other like um, basic human need, right? So food, shelter, healthcare, energy, transportation. Those things are fundamental to current human life, and I think without a doubt, regardless of how bad the economy gets, people are still going to need shelter. People are still going to need food. People are still going to want energy sources to be more efficient. People are still going to need to transport themselves, goods, and products. So that's where I lean. So to see him come forward and say, hey, I think tech is overvalued, and I think you're kind of guiding people down the wrong path by recommending Apple, I welcome that criticism because he's right. I think you can do much better or have something that's more necessary for human survival that can outperform or keep up with inflation if you're looking at the commodities. Because gas prices are going up, food prices are going up, everything is going up. So if you want to at least compete with the rate of inflation, you might as well be investing in the things that are going to benefit from inflation, right? That are going to gain value along with the devaluation of currency, right? So if you're going to move from money to things that people really need, you're going to always be able to capture your money back by selling that product at the current value. So I wanted him to come on. I hope he still shows up. Boatage from Sao Paulo. Jacob, feel the same. Shira, hey, what's up? Hope you're still around. Jeffrey is saying Coca-Cola is an excellent choice. I'm holding drips in my portfolio. Cool. So yeah, I think with that being said, that kind of covers what I wanted to talk about in this live. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. That's really why I like to do these lives. It's an opportunity to discuss and exchange with the audience. This one was a little early because the gentleman that was going to come on was coming on from Cyprus, and he wanted, not to be up too late. So let's see what's going on here. He won't make it. You see that? That's hilarious. So, I think it's an interesting thing to see, right? Because I have this idea that I welcome the trolls, right? And I'm not saying that he's necessarily a troll. I think he might be a decent person, but I welcome people who have opposite opinions of me, right? Because I feel that I don't know everything in the world. I say that I know a lot, but someone else is going to have the potential to teach me something new that I can make money on or improve my character with. So this gentleman, he had reached out on the last video to first complain that I took too long to make my stock picks. Let me read his comment now that he's not showing up. What did he say? He said, "Man, this video was way too long for your 3 tips. Also, the stocks that you picked are not going to be much value for people. They should be buying commodities as their PE ratio is very low compared to tech." Right? And so I look at that and I say, okay, you have something to say. You felt the need to come into the comment section and disagree with my perspective, which is totally, your prerogative. And I think you should do that. I do it all the time in people's comments. But I'm always willing to get in front of my statement and discuss it. Right. So I told him I was going live at 3:00 today. He asked for 2 p.m. He even shared the data that he wanted to discuss, and is a no-show, right? That, to me, that's peculiar, right? So I hope he shows up one day and we could talk about it, because I do think his argument has value, and I do think that people can learn from his perspective. I just wish that he would have stuck into his word that he wanted to show up to this, so that I could learn something rather than shifting my day and kind of not having the material that I wanted to share with you guys. Sharif is saying, "Hello, Carl. How are you?" "I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?" Yeah, for sure. Disagreements. Yeah, disagreements. If you're able to handle like criticism or a challenge to your belief system, because the disagreement, like if you're disagreeing about beliefs, nobody's right in a belief debate. There's no winner there. The only thing that you're going to get out of a belief debate is understanding why somebody may feel a certain way, how they approach their thoughts and their feelings, right? If you're debating, beliefs. But when you're debating things in the realm of science, or things in the realm of mathematics, which I guess is science as well, things that are tangible, factual, that people have formed consensus around, having a disagreement in that area could be, highly, highly productive, because you may have miscalculated, didn't analyze the data correctly, made bad correlations that somebody else could point out and give you one-to-one comparisons that support their argument and will help you see things in a different or more correct way. So like just one of the things that I kind of get pulled into a lot is that in the world of social media, and maybe even some of the people that I interact with and follow, I like people who aren't typical. I actually like atypical people who go against the grain, people who challenge, the status quo and standards. I find them entertaining. I find that they tend to be good sources of information. But because of that, I got a lot of like anti-vax people on my social media. And when I see them posting things about the vaccine and their position on the vaccine, and I see inconsistency in the science or the information that's being shared, I can't help but to call it out. For the record, I am not really high on vaccines. I don't know truly how good or bad they are for humanity, but I understand how they work, and I understand the risk to benefits. And in looking at the COVID vaccine, this is something that comes up all the time, but looking at the COVID vaccine, the data that I see, it's quite clear that it's having it has a positive effect in comparison to no vaccine. So I tend to get into these little arguments around the vaccines. And what I noticed is that most people who are anti-vax are so with no concrete evidence of why they believe that the vaccine is dangerous. It's usually a suspicion of big pharma, a mistrust of government, just these general ideas that you can't argue, right? You can't argue with someone's belief system. You can't argue statistical information against someone's beliefs because you're not even using the same language to draw your conclusions. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that when it comes to open challenges, if you're going to make an open challenge, whether it's in investment ideas or in people's beliefs, at least know what know what is the basis for your argument. Is this an argument of beliefs, or is this an argument of rooted in factuality, rooted in some accepted truth? Okay. And I think when it comes to investing, since this is kind of a continuation of this week's video, but when it comes to investing, I really do think it's important that you have your investment criteria based on some sort of empirical information, right? Like, you can't just consistently say, I am investing in something because I feel it's the future, and then have no target in mind for when to realize that investment, and have no loss in mind or loss parameters to say this proves my thesis incorrect and that I should kind of cut the cord and move on. I've had people tell me that they're willing to hold onto their crypto until it's worth zero. And to me, that's kind of nuts, because if you were to ask them that about any other item in their life, would they hold on to it to zero? Chances are they would say no. So they have this distorted belief around their investment, and because I believe it will work out, and you can't approach investing that way. I think at all points in time, you should have clear criteria for what makes an investment good for you, whether it's price, PE ratio, or the capitalization rate or rate of return on that investment. You should have some criteria that says this is a good investment for me and I trust this decision-making process. And then you should also have, regardless of what sort of investment it is, you should also have clear risk parameters, as well as a clear idea as to when your investment has gone to the crapper and when you should stop investing in that product or potentially sell that investment to recover some portion of your money. It's going to be different for everybody. Some people may have a 5% risk tolerance that if I invest using X strategy, I will not allow myself to lose more than 5% of my initial investment. And that might be their criteria. Oh, 30 minutes have passed. So what's happening here? Cool. So, yep, that's pretty much it. Today's live. is about to come to a close. If you have any other questions or you're watching this on a follow-up, just make sure that you use the comment section below just to check in. Let me know what your thoughts are. Fundamental and statistical analysis for sure. I think if you use both schools of thought, you're going to be making the best decision, at least when it comes to investing in like equities as an asset class. Because when in looking at stocks, you could use fundamental analysis to make a decision while looking at the statistical information to understand whether or not the two are lining up. Does supply and demand match? Is the price to performance or price of fundamentals making sense compared to the industry group, compared to like companies, compared to historical performance? I think using both schools of thought are going to put you in the best position to realize some sort of gain when you're investing in any asset class. Thank you for joining me here at ENTP Life. I hope you enjoyed this live. It's pouring and noisy outside. I'm going to cut it here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.